Hey, welcome to EPN. My name is Victor Lucas, and we bring you the latest in everything cool every single day, thanks to viewers, supporters, and sponsors just like you. Today's rundown is dedicated to Retro Ray, who has been watching me and EP since show one and loves it when I hang out with other cast members like Ben and Jose, which I saw this week, and Mrs. Jeff and Scott and Tommy and Marissa. We miss them too, but we got you this rundown to cheer you up, Retro Ray. If you're one of the many gamers who hates loot boxes, Far Cry 5 has got you covered. The first-person shooter will not have any loot boxes.
Something to cheer about.
We recently got to check out the game at a special event hosted by publisher Ubisoft, where we spoke with associate producer Philippe Fournier. With all the controversy surrounding loot boxes and microtransactions in other games like Star Wars Battlefront 2, we just had to ask if Far Cry 5 would be doing the same thing. Here's what he said.
I can confirm there won't be any loot boxes on Far Cry 5. For us, it's always been about being generous for the player. We want players to be able to explore the open world and get to play with everything that we have to offer. Any type of weapon, any type of gun, any type of vehicle. You're really going to be able to explore that and at your own pace and get the freedom of choosing and going around this open world as you wish.
You can watch the full version of that interview on our channel. Many gamers will be happy to hear that there aren't going to be any loot boxes, but it's worth pointing out that Philippe didn't say anything about microtransactions. Other recent Ubisoft games, like Assassin's Creed Origins, have had microtransactions, with players being able to purchase in-game items for real-life money, despite the fact that there aren't any randomized loot box mechanics. Ubisoft hasn't said if they'll be doing the same thing with Far Cry 5, but even if there are microtransactions, skipping the randomized loot boxes will do a lot to avoid controversy. We'll let you know when more details come in. Far Cry 5 arrives in March. It looks like the merc with the mouth will be able to keep using that mouth in future movies. The Deadpool film franchise might get to keep its R rating now that it's owned by Disney.
Time to make the chimmy fucking chongas.
Disney announced their deal to buy 20th Century Fox and all its film franchises yesterday, leaving many wondering what this means for the future of Marvel franchises owned by Fox, namely X-Men, Fantastic Four, and Deadpool. Disney has a long-standing policy against releasing R-rated movies, which could pose a problem for a character like Deadpool, who's all about violence and profanity.
Finish fucking her the fuck up!
Language, please!
Suck a cock!
Fans might not need to worry. Disney's CEO Bob Iger held a special conference call with investors yesterday afternoon where he elaborated on what they plan to do with their newly acquired Marvel properties. Iger says that he thinks Deadpool is an interesting franchise that presents them with the opportunity to start making R-rated Marvel-branded films.
You only have one course of action.
He says that all they need to do is make audiences aware ahead of time that the films are R-rated and not the usual family-friendly outings you get from other Disney-produced Marvel movies like The Avengers. Keeping Deadpool R-rated makes sense for several reasons. First of all, it would maintain the established tone of the character from the comics, which is something that Disney and Marvel have been careful to do with their other superhero movies. Also, the first Deadpool movie was a huge financial success, not in spite of, but because of its R rating, so Disney will probably want to keep raking in the dough by repeating the same formula.
That sounds like a fucking franchise.
Deadpool 2 is already slated to arrive in summer 2018.
God, I love cocaine.
And there are still a lot of unanswered questions about Deadpool and the other Fox properties now owned by Disney. Along with Deadpool 2, there are several different X-Men movies coming down the pipe, including The New Mutants, Dark Phoenix, due out in late 2018, as well as an X-Force ensemble and sequels to existing films. Now that Disney is in charge, they plan to eventually bring the X-Men characters into the shared Marvel Cinematic Universe, which will complicate things considerably. The X-Men movies that are already in production will almost certainly proceed as planned, but the ones that are still in development, like X-Force, might be scrapped in favor of other, more MCU-centric films. This also raises questions about casting. It's unclear if Disney will want to reuse the existing actors in the same roles. When they brought Spider-Man into the MCU, they recast him, so they might want to do the same thing with the X-Men characters as a way of starting fresh and wiping the slate clean from both a creative and legal standpoint. With Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart retired from their X roles, most of the other less iconic characters could probably be replaced with little fuss, with the exception of one. Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool. Boom. He's really just starting out as the character, and it would create a lot of controversy if Disney suddenly replaced him, even if they keep the R ratings.
Quite unfortunate.
The fourth wall-breaking nature of Deadpool might make it easier for them to keep Reynolds around and explain why he's suddenly part of a larger cinematic universe, but we'll have to wait and see.
Fourth wall break inside a fourth wall break. That's like 16 walls.
Disney hasn't said how they plan to proceed with this matter, so until then, this is all just speculation on our part. We'll let you know what Disney does next.
You expecting Sam Jackson show up with an eye patch and a saucy little leather number? Go.
Speaking of Disney, the latest Star Wars movie is here, and it's already a smash hit. Star Wars The Last Jedi hits theaters everywhere today, but is already breaking records. It earned $45 million from Thursday night preview screenings, giving it the second best Thursday night in history, second only to The Force Awakens, which earned an unprecedented $57 million from its Thursday previews. This indicates that although The Last Jedi will be a massive success, it probably won't be as big as The Force Awakens. It's projected to earn as much as $200 million this weekend, which is huge, but again, less than the $250 million made by The Force Awakens. The Last Jedi might run into trouble in another area. The film has received rave reviews from critics, but is being met with a polarized reception from fans on social media, so we're very curious to see how it does in the coming weeks and months. In the meantime, you can check out my review of the film, as well as two different Vic's Basement discussions, one spoilery and one not, available now on our channel. If you're already finished with Breath of the Wild, Skyrim, and Xenoblade Chronicles 2, another massive RPG is coming to the Nintendo Switch. Developer In Exile Entertainment has announced that they're bringing Wasteland 2 over to the Nintendo platform. In Exile founder Brian Fargo made the announcement on Twitter, posting this photo of the game's menu running on the Switch, so it looks like this will be the director's cut version, which features gameplay enhancements and better graphics. Wasteland 2 was first released on the PC in 2014, followed by a PS4 and Xbox One version in 2015. The game is a sequel to the first Wasteland game, which was released back in 1988 and offers in-depth, old-school RPG gameplay with more modern graphics. In Exile Entertainment hasn't revealed when the Nintendo Switch version will arrive. Looking ahead, the all-new Wasteland 3 is currently in development and slated to arrive in 2019.
So what?
In other Switch news, the online heist game Payday 2 is about to drop on the Nintendo platform. Developer Overkill Software has revealed that the Switch version of the game, which they first announced earlier this year, will finally arrive on February 27th, 2018. Like the PC version, it will offer 4-player co-op where you and your friends work together to rob banks, and game producer Almir Listo says that there's nothing better than being able to heist on the go. They've revamped the interface and controls to work better on the Switch, although they haven't said how much of a graphical hit the game might take. Looking ahead, Overkill Software is working on a Walking Dead game called Overkill's The Walking Dead. Like Payday, it's a first-person shooter and will have the look and feel of the Walking Dead TV series. That arrives late next year. That wraps up the rundown for today. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy your screening of The Last Jedi this weekend. I know you're going out to see it. We'll catch up on Monday with a brand new rundown for you. But in the meantime, there's lots of other content for you to check out. So please do that. And if you like it, hit subscribe, that little bell, and if you're so inclined, that sponsorship button too.